podium to receive his honor, Mr. Kevin Lozano.
Okay, tonight I'm just going to briefly review an upcoming New Jersey Department of Ed monitoring process with you that is called the New Jersey Quality Single Accountability Continuum, which from this point on I'm just going to refer to as NJQSAC. NJQSAC is a monitoring and evaluation system that is required for all public school districts in the state of New Jersey. Annually, all districts are required to complete the New Jersey QSAC Statement of Assurance, which is referred to as the SOA. And annually, all districts are required to conduct facilities reviews in each of the district school buildings using a facilities checklist provided by the New Jersey Department of Ed. Once every 3 years, the districts are required to undergo a full New Jersey QSAC evaluation and must complete the district performance review. Coincidentally, this year is our 3rd year, so we are going through a full NJQSAC review. The Statement of Assurance and the District Performance Review evaluates 5 areas of school district effectiveness, which is instruction and program, fiscal management, governance, personnel, and operations. So in order to fulfill the requirements by the New Jersey Department of Ed, we formed committees and subcommittees that were created to complete the Statement of Assurance and District Performance Review. So in doing the committee was created, instruction and programming, and it consisted of myself, curriculum supervisors, regular supervisors, and teachers. The fiscal governance, personnel, and operations portion of the reports were made up of supervisors, directors, myself, the business administrator, and the purchasing agent. So what happens is you have to reflect and you have to come up with evidence to prove all the areas that the New Jersey Department of Ed requires. So the first one, instruction and program, the district rated itself with an 80%. And now the county will come in January and they will rate us based on the evidence that we provide them. In fiscal management, the district rated itself at a 70%. The governance was 80%, personnel was 100%, and operations was 85%. And although they measure the same categories, there are different requirements in each category. So that is why you're going to see a difference in the scoring. So the DPR is a little more detailed than the SOA. So in instruction and programming, the district rated itself as a 56%. And the reason you see such a fall is that our curriculum is all aligned, everything is aligned, but our students don't do as well on the state assessment, so we lose a lot of points in the area of instruction. Fiscal management, the district rated itself as a 68% on the DPR. Governance is 96%, personnel is 100%, and operations is 85%. The Lakewood School District, like I said, will go under a full QSAC review in January. New Jersey Department of Ed will send members to the central office where they will evaluate all of our documents that we show for support. After the central office review, the New Jersey Department of Ed will visit a sampling of the schools within the district, and they will conduct classroom walkthroughs and facility reviews. A corrective action plan will be completed for any of the 5 areas of school effectiveness that the school district received less than 80% on. You can find the full report of the district's review of itself on the Lakewood School District. You can find, if you go to the Lakewood School District website, you will find a statement of assurance as well as the district performance review. And if you have any further questions or you would like to know more about this, you can call my office and I will be more than happy to sit down with you and go over the report with you as well. Thank you.
So I think we'll hear from the public first before we move on the agenda. Is there a sign sheet? Yes. Okay.
Afternoon, everybody. Mrs. Lakewood? Can't hear you. The mic's not on.
Ned, why don't you use the mic at the podium? Thanks. Oh, it's on. And Ned, it's on. Sorry.
No problem. I just want to take time to say thank you to Mr. Fink, Mr. Seidler, and congratulations again, Mr. Slackman. Over the last several years, as a member of Unite, we have been working in the community to make sure that all the children of Lakewood are afforded an equal opportunity and education, especially when we think about where the public schools have been over the last 10 to 12 years. I will say that this last year has been probably one of the best years that the public schools has seen in a very long time. Listening to the student representative of all of the things that way back then when some of us were in Lakewood schools, the bonfire, the Powder Puff Games, the Pioneers' Pride, the spirit of Lakewood coming together, working as one. There's a movie called Drumline, and in that movie, it says, it's one band, one sound. And that's how we should be operating for the sake of our children in this city. What I will say is for the members who will remain and for those members who are coming on, I hope you continue to move forward. Let's not go backwards, because if that happens, our children will have a chance. And I would hate for that to be the situation. And honestly, I can't see how anyone could rest at night easily when we're taken from our kids. So I just hope that everyone keeps an open mind, and under Superintendent Winters, I hope that everyone continues to move forward and not backwards. That was it.
Thank you. Larry Avery?
Good evening. I too wanted to thank Mr. Seidler and Mr. Fink for their contribution over the last 3 years to raise the level of education in Lakewood and to keep the finances down, Mr. Seidler. Thank you. I want to ask the board that's going to be to continue the moderation that was followed under Mr. Fink and make sure that the Lakewood education system remains in a growing state and not a declining state as it was 3 years ago, and that you support Ms. Winters going forward, and that you do the best for everybody in the community, not just a select portion of the community.
Thank you. Mr. Rush?
Good evening. My name is Mike Rush, 1502 Malibu Drive, Lakewood. I just want to address a couple of concerns that I, as a citizen, have with anybody who's elected to the Board of Education. Let me just tell you my background. I'm a retired school superintendent who served. I'm a retired assistant commissioner of education for the state of New Jersey, and I've always had the best interests of children in mind. Just want to say to the Board of Education members, you are and were selected and will be when in January, you're selected to look at the public schools of Lakewood. I have no problem with anybody's religious persuasions, anybody sending their children to public or private or parochial schools. No issues. I have no issues with anybody. My issue, and it has always been, public school education. So what I'm asking and what I'm saying to the Board of Education members who are up there, and to those of you who will be elected during, those who were elected and will be board members beginning in January, I ask that you look at the public schools in Lakewood and do your best to support our kids. These kids, our kids are hurting. I run a program called Omega 13. Several of my boys and girls attend Lakewood Public Schools. I talk to them every Sunday afternoon, and they're struggling. They're having tremendous problems. I understand the CUSAC, I understand what you're going through, and I do support your superintendent. I've spoken to her on several occasions, but I'm asking you to be diligent in your work at board members and look closely at the students in our public schools and try to do best by them, do the best by them. I know that most of you come from a different persuasion, and that's okay. I have no problem with that. And most of you, your kids attend or may attend private or parochial schools. But when you're elected to a position to serve the public schools of Lakewood, I do ask that you serve and think about those kids in our district. Thank you.
That's it.
Okay, let's move on the agenda.
And Mr. President, as I explained, there are additions to the agenda. The business agenda was passed out to the board members. It's items O, P, Q, and R. And also on the agenda, the certification of no over expenditures. The board secretary's report, asking to remove that from the agenda tonight. Reason being is that we have the audit is in process right now. The auditor should be completed by either the middle of next week or the beginning of the following week, at which time I can give the board a better picture of exactly where we are, where the finances are, and I think it'd be best to hold off at this time.
Absent of any reason to say that we are not over budget, don't you just say that we are under budget?
We're close. That's what I can say right now.
All right, we'll wait.
Yeah. And we're not certified now because of the audit. So I need a motion for items A, B, and D through R on the business agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second by?
Roll call.
Discussion.
Discussion.
What page?
A through O.
A and B, D through O, R, sorry.
All the way down. We're talking through this.
Good evening. Okay. I have a question about the OHI. That's part of the
What page?
my agenda, page 11.
Okay.
How long is OHI operating in our Clifton Grade School? How long has OHI been in operation in Clifton Avenue Grade School?
They just started on them.
They just started. So this is kind of like the first place that they're operating in a public school, right?
Yes.
So we don't really know if it's going to work out or not. It's kind of like a trial program. I know we're in contract, but it's called a pilot program. Why are we moving so fast to bring another clinic to high school before we know that this clinic in Clifton Avenue works out well?
The client population of Lakewood desires another, clinic. It's basically the same type of clinic as SCMED, but it's within the public schools, and it's not only administering health needs to the public schools.
I understand. I know what the program is about, but the fact that it isn't a public school, and a public school for the most part needs to be secure. And-
they are paying us for security. That
So
we have
shouldn't we
to-
first see that it works well before we
It's also
move
only
to the
for
next phase?
families, immediate families, and families in the Lakewood School District. You can't walk off the
So are
street.
you comfortable bringing another program before knowing that that one actually works?
Yes, but there's a lot of educational value to it. Kids are
There
staying in
is.
school, if parents don't have to take off of work, so if a child is sick and the child's parents have signed for the papers, the child can go see the doctor, get medicine, and do what they have to do.
Personally, I hope the next board puts one in by the Spruce and Oak Street too.
Well, if it works, it's a great idea. I would agree. That's why I think we voted on the Clifton Avenue.
As long as there's no drugs and so forth within the schools, it's good for the population.
No, I know that.
Yeah, but a lot of the parents don't drive.
Right.
So when kids are sick, it keeps the kids, within their own perimeters and so forth, rather than schlepping from one end of town to the other end.
Okay,
I've actually visited the facilities on Second Street and in Clifton,
right.
and they are saying it's good quality healthcare.
Okay.
Anything else?
I'm done, anyway.
Okay. Anyone else discussion?
No.
Does it encourage sick children to
You
come to
want to
school?
discuss that?
Parents to allow a child that's sick to go to school just so that they can get the medical attention?
We get a lot of sick children in school. Parents have to work, and regardless if the clinic is there or not there, parents
Send the kids to
sometimes
school.
have to send their children to school.
Doesn't
So
that
at
make,
least having the center there, they can get the care that they need before they get too sick.
Even if
They have to
they're
visit the emergency
contagious?
room. What's that?
Even if they're contagious?
Even if they have
Well, they're contagious, we send them home, we don't keep them in
But if they have a
school.
cold or a fever and so forth, at least they can see medical attention.
oh, that I
right away.
agree.
And they will be sent home. We're not keeping them in school sick, but they do get the medical attention before they have to visit an emergency room.
It's the way all school districts are going.
I think it's a great thing. I'm not,
What's the dollar for money? Just a money,
It's just
money
a-
exchange?
Right. But the one thing we did insist upon that came to fruition is they pay us for the security in the school. So-
Is that in the contract?
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Just brought to my attention that on the addendum, the items P and Q have the same number on it, 4907 as the employee number. Item P should say 5258.
Thanks. All right. Good catch.
Okay, Mr. Friedman? Mr. Greenspan?
yes, with the exception of any transportation-related items.
Mrs. Larkin?
Yes.
Mr. Tift?
Yeah, I have one question. The document disposal, is that part of that
Yes.
we're going to now as well?
What's that,
The document
I can't
disposal
see.
that we have here? The documents that we're going to dispose of.
Oh, yes, that's part of the
How
agenda.
are they going to get disposed of? Are they getting shredded, they getting burned? How's that?
They shred them.
They shred them?
They showed all the documents that are beyond 7
Yeah,
years.
yeah, I see that.
Right.
Okay.
And they're doing an excellent job.
I
Matter
mean,
of fact,
they're actually on site doing it, or we have to take it
they're
from
on
somewhere else?
They're bringing some people on site, but
Gotcha.
if you notice if you get a chance to look at the storeroom, if those boxes were in there, we'd have no room, absolutely no room at all. We've had boxes from years and years ago, so.
Thanks. Yes. My
In
apologies.
other words, we paid rent for obsolete items.
Yes.
And we actually hired somebody who has a lot of experience on it.
Well, they have to have the expertise to know which documents.
And they're going through all the you mentioned by the last meeting.
Right. Mr. Mund? Yes. Mr. Schwartz?
Yes.
Mr. Silver? Yes. Mr. Seitler?
Yeah.
Mr. Fink?
Yes.
Okay, and the superintendent's agenda, there's an addendum also. There's items, A, it goes from 1 through 38. On the addendum, there's additions to 38. And then on the agenda is also item number 39. And on the addendum, there's items 40, 41, and 42. So I need a motion for the agenda and the addendum.
Motion.
Second
Second.
was,
Excuse me.
second. Any questions?
I do have a question.
Tom, I have a quick question for you real quick. I know you're going to vote, but the settlement agreement that was in our package for Catapult Learning,
Which one is this?
it was like a...
Right, Catapult?
Yeah, the Catapult agreement. I see on the back that, Mr. Finn signed it, and the chief financial officer, Tom, you signed it, but I don't see the attorney's signature on there. Does he have to review?
Typically, the attorney does not sign the settlement, just the board president and the business administrator.
He did review it though, before I signed it.
Good.
There's no way I'm gonna sign it unless he tells me it's okay.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Carl won't sign it until I sign it, so.
That's accurate.
Any other questions?
No, that's it. Thanks.
Mr. Friedman? Mr. Greenspan? Yes. Mrs. Lacken?
Yes.
Mr. Tift?
Yes.
Mr. Mund? Yes. Mr. Schwartz?
Yes.
Mr. Silver?
Yes.
Mr. Seitler? Yes. Mr. Fink?
Yes.
Question to the board attorney. This is as far as Wednesday's special meeting. Does that have to be advertised or?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. If I I need a little bit more time to obtain legal representation. Can I request that now?
So the board was going to schedule a special meeting for Wednesday at 9 o'clock a.m. Are you stating that you're not available?
I am not available, and I would also like some more time to obtain legal representation.
If that's the case, we should select a new date.
Okay.
How much time do you need?
I would say probably another 2 weeks.
When's our next board meeting?
On the 19th.
December 19th.
We're gonna need another board meeting anyway before the end of November after the audit to decide that.
Yeah, and I'm not going to be here December 19th.
Then why don't we just?
So why don't we pull out our calendars and pick
December
another date?
December 19th is perfect for me.
Yeah, it's not for us. I'm not going
At
to be
least
here.
for us. Okay, so you won't be there.
Yeah, but I want to be the president. I'm still the president of the board, and that's not good.
Can I make a suggestion? Why don't we do this at the end of the meeting under new business? Why don't we move are we done with all the other items?
Yes, let's move on the agenda.
Right, and we'll do this at the end.
Finish the agenda.
Finish the agenda.
Finish the agenda this week.
Can I, through the chair, can I just welcome our newest transportation employee?
Yes.
Welcome, Mr. Duck.
Welcome, Doug. Congratulations.
And I wish you all of luck.
If I could just add, I also have brought Tara Velasquez, who's going to be handling a heavy part of the business duties in our office, and she's been putting in countless extra hours at no remuneration, and she's really doing a great job too. So Tara Velasquez.
Mark, the only time I can do it is Wednesday the 3rd. You can't do it any other day. I'm sorry, I can do it. I meant Monday the 2nd. I'm out of town that week.
Monday the 2nd is the night you want to do it?
Right. And by day, it's 9 o'clock in the morning.
I have a meeting that I have at my office at 11 that I have to be there for. Excuse my voice. I don't think that gives us enough time unless we start earlier, Mr. Fink.
8:30? All right, let's start
We
8
start at 8
o'clock.
o'clock?
Let's start 8 o'clock.
Is that okay, Mr. Friedman?
Yeah.
What day is that? Okay, 8 o'clock, Monday the 2nd. Please advertise that, Mr. Danball. Is that okay with the majority of the board?
December 2nd?
Yes. Let's do that. Hold on a
I don't
second.
think we can make it by 8 o'clock. I got it. But you can't be here.
I'd have to leave here at that time. It shouldn't be right long, but you never know. Want to try 8:30?
Why don't we do Friday, the prior Fridays?
That's Thanksgiving weekend and that's Hanukkah. But that's Shabbos
All right,
Hanukkah.
you want to do it Friday morning? Let's do it Friday morning.
I can't do Friday morning, I'm sorry.
What are the ramifications there, Mark?
I think we should just schedule for the Monday. It seems like everybody's good.
Monday. Okay.
Okay, I have a couple more questions.
8:30?
Was a lawyer consultant prior to bringing this
Since
scheduling
this,
in?
my suggestion is, since this involves attorney-client privilege advice with all of you, let's go back into closed session at the end of the meeting. Okay?
Motion? Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
No, not adjourn to executive session.
Motion
Discuss
to
matters
move
of
to executive
attorney-client
session.
privilege.
Yes. Adjourn to executive session.
Second?
No, we're going to close session.
No action, no further action will be taken other than to adjourn the meeting.
That's right.
Yes.